Identifying the real problem in hitting is probably one of the most important things that you can do to help a hitter. It's also one of the hardest things to do because it's not that easy to identify the true problem. In this case right now, I'm going to have Marcus demonstrate a couple of swings for you right now that aren't perfect, and I want you to kind of watch and see as he's hitting what he's actually doing wrong and see if you can figure it out. I'm going to give him 2 swings. Go ahead, Marcus. So as his swing's performing, try to see what he's doing wrong. It's one more. What is Marcus doing wrong right here? Okay, so most coaches, players can feel a lack of extension. If you were to watch Marcus swing right there, I'm going to tell you what he was doing wrong. He was getting to the ball pretty good, and then at contact he was coming this way. So most coaches can see, okay, he was rolling over, he wasn't getting extension through the ball, but that wasn't the real root of the problem. This is the hardest part in identifying the problem, is what's the real root of the problem. In this case, Marcus at contact was getting here and crunching up his shoulders. Because his shoulders crunched up, it forced his hands to perform at this action instead of relaxing his shoulders and being able to drive extension through the ball. This is just one small example of how important it is to identify the real problem in hitting. If I was to tell Marcus in this situation that he's rolling over to get more extension through the ball, he would never be able to do that because his shoulders are all tied up. If we can get him to relax his shoulders and then be able to get extension, it will operate more fluidly as far as the swing is concerned. What we just saw here with Marcus was a prime example of how one thing that is seen necessarily wasn't causing that problem to happen. So what I talked about in the chapter was something called the circle effect. The circle effect is the best way to understand on how to really give the hitter what they truly need and how to really identify the true problem. What we saw with Marcus was the cause of a rollover effect happening. So what he was doing, off the tee at least, was rolling the ball over. Now, if we have a circle, or in this case a ball, the cause should be on the ball. The main focus should be to fix that rollover problem. His cause was because his shoulders were too tight. So on the circle, you'll have a whole bunch of things that are causing that certain effect to happen. In his case, his shoulders were too tight, caused his swing to get a little bit locked up and long, maybe caused his timing to be a little bit late, which caused the rollover effect to happen. Most coaches can see that rollover, but they don't understand why that's happening. That's why it's our job to be able to figure out why those things are happening. The circle effect is the best way to understand how to really fix that problem. Shoulders were relaxed, got some extension that time. Good job. The circle effect is a great way to help hitters. Identifying the true problem takes a lifetime to really learn. I still work on this a lot. Sometimes it's still confusing to really figure out hitters. And if you're dealing with more advanced kids, don't be so quick to make judgments. Don't be so quick to try to figure out that problem. Sometimes you need to take a while with that individual hitter to really figure it out. One of the best things you can do to try to help figure out a hitter's true problems is to get them in live game situations or live game at bats. A lot of times, if I was dealing with Marcus and he's hitting off the tee, there's no way I could possibly help him unless I see some live at bats. So identifying those true problems could be something that's totally different than just mechanics. A lot of time the true problem relates to pitch recognition, vision, maybe some timing issues, maybe even some bat speed issues. So when we're dealing with trying to identify the problems, realize that you got to look outside of the box sometimes. Sometimes we see things happening on the field that are caused by things that you can't see mechanically. Sometimes it's mental. So let's get into really digging into making hitters better by trying to identify their true problems instead of just fixing their swing all the time.